Brine trucks, salt, and more all ready to go as Georgia braces for winter weather arriving this weekend. And as we sit just under 48 hours away from the arrival of that ice and snow, we have team coverage tonight to prepare you for the impact of what's gearing up to be quite the winter weather event. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us here for Fox 5 News at 5. I'm Tom Haynes.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Let's get straight out to Chief Meteorologist David Chandley tracking the storm. David?
Yeah, kind of the precursor of what's going on right now has no impact on what's going to go on here this weekend, where temperatures fairly mild, January standards, even with rain falling, more significant rainfall down on the south side. But look at the readings there, the upper 40s and low 50s. Well, we've expanded the winter storm watch anticipated, and it includes most of metro Atlanta. Draw the line from Carrollton all the way over towards Eatonton. Really kicks in late Friday night, early Saturday morning, right on into Monday. The big story is going to be ice formation. Freezing rain. Rain falling as liquid and then freezing on contact, and we get those ice accumulations, and ice accumulations from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch. That's going to be, I think, crippling in a lot of areas. Look at the forecast that we have here. Now, keep in mind, this is going to change, but what you really need to see is this area that's down the I-85 corridor, 985, parts of the North Metro, could see upwards of 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of ice. This would be a generational type storm if indeed that pans out. And right now it looks like all signs point to that. So yeah, that 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice becomes disruptive with numerous power outages, tree damage, slick roads. Anything more than a 1/2 inch of ice is really crippling, and the roads become impassable. All right, so let's put a timeline in all this now as we go forward, kind of big picture stuff. We're going to watch that high just kind of build on in here, and that's what we're counting on, this wedge of colder air coming down the pike right here, having temperatures at 32 or below right near the surface. And then here comes the moisture, and that's going to be rolling in here late Friday night, early Saturday. But the main event, I think, still going to be Saturday night into early Sunday morning. And as we drill down into that, I think that's when we see a bunch of the freezing rain. There's maybe some sleet mixed in, but I really think this is a freezing rain event for your Saturday night on into early Sunday morning. We'll have more details on that and talk all about it. Stay with us now in the next couple hours.
All right, David, thanks. Governor Brian Kemp this morning declaring a state of emergency ahead of the approaching storm.
All 159 Georgia counties are now under a winter storm watch. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes is live in Forest Park with more on the state's response to all of this. Deidre?
Now, we're joining you live from a GDOT facility here in Forest Park, where starting tomorrow, we'll see a lot of activity ahead of that approaching storm. We're told that GDOT crews will begin treating roads on Saturday morning.
As a winter storm bears down on Georgia, GDOT crews are already in motion. Brine trucks staged, salt barns stocked, and road teams preparing statewide.
We're ready to go. We have materials, we have equipment, we have technology, we have people.
GDOT's Natalie Dale reassuring drivers the agency is ready.
We're prepared, but do not mistake our preparedness as an invitation for you to be on the road.
We just want all of Georgia to be winter aware, and certainly people in central Georgia. You could be impacted if the temperatures stay above freezing.
Governor Kemp has declared a state of emergency for all 159 Georgia counties over the next 7 days. The State Operations Center will activate at 7 Saturday morning.
We're still early in this weather event's impact on our state, but can let you know that we'll be monitoring this 24/7.
Multiple state agencies are working ahead of the storm and ready to assist where needed.
Literally a degree or two in temperature can affect whether we have rain or snow/ice or freezing rain. So that is something that we're just going to have to continue to watch and communicate with, which is why we're asking everyone to be prepared in case we have significant ice accumulation.
Residents urged to stock up on food and other supplies and to be ready for possible power outages.
We encourage everyone to start preparing for potential winter weather impacts now. By being ready for the storm, Georgians can do their part in minimizing risk, reducing the time it takes to recover, and most importantly, prevent the loss of life.
Now, you hear it there, state officials urging residents to take this seriously. They say they really need them to get out there, get all the supplies they need, make sure they've got gas in their cars, really stock up and do what they can, and then hunker down at home if at all possible to stay off the roads until the storm passes and our emergency officials can assess the damage and begin to do the important work. That's the latest here in Forest Park. Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
Deidre, thanks. Continuing our team coverage now to how people are preparing for this winter storm.
Grocery stores, retailers like Walmart have seen a rush as customers stock up on the essentials. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert live inside the Chamblee Walmart Superstore with details. Tyler?
Yeah, Tom, good evening to you. With that winter storm on the way, people are stocking up on food and water, but that is not the only thing they are grabbing. Some folks are also getting flashlights and batteries just in case the lights go out.
The clock is ticking to winter weather, and North Georgia is stocking up. Inside the Chamblee Walmart Supercenter, customers like Ronnie Johnson and her son are filling carts as the Fox Size Storm Team finalizes the forecast.
He just got his new apartment, so I wanted to make sure he had all of the essentials for the weather as well as myself.
It's just basic necessities that we need, just in case.
Customers say they want to have enough food and water on hand in case of power outages or if driving conditions turn dangerous. Deborah Turman is worried about the ice.
I just moved here from Florida. I'm originally from this area, but this is my first year back with the ice storm, so I guess I'm used to hurricanes and I'm just over preparing maybe.
Even as customers flood this Walmart store, shelves remain stocked.
Traffic is picking up over the last 24 hours. Of course, customers are anticipating the storm, so they're coming in to get a lot of those everyday essentials to make sure they're stocked up just in case weather gets worse.
Besides food, some of the top items include ice melt, batteries, flashlights, and cold weather gear. Store manager Tyrese Douglas says Walmart has worked hard to get them extra trucks as the winter weather gets ready to move in.
We're getting more trucks in just to have safety stock, just in case we get a lot of panic buying maybe this afternoon, this evening, or maybe tomorrow morning.
For customers like Alfonsina Medeiros, her cart is a safety net.
I'm not too worried, honestly. We've lived in Iowa for so long that the cold really doesn't bother us.
The crowds have been pretty steady throughout the day, and while they have plenty of items here that could change as more and more people come here and pick up the items that they need. We're live in Chamblee tonight. Tyler Fingert, Fox 5 News.
All right, Tyler, good to see them all stocked up there. Don't forget, you can follow our winter storm coverage anytime, anywhere on the Fox Local app for your smartphone. Download it now so you can keep up with the very latest, even if you lose power. We'll be streaming our live coverage as well as updating weather closings around the clock. Follow it all on fox5atlanta.com and Fox Local. Before the storm arrives, you'll want to make sure that your house is ready for the cold weather.
HVAC companies are extremely busy this time of year, helping you make sure you have heat throughout your home. Fox 5's Tara Jabor joins us live now. And Tara, you spoke to an HVAC company today. What did you find out?
That's right. Well, the first thing that the HVAC company told me today is everyone needs to change their filter if you haven't done so already. As you can see here, it's really easy to do. You just open this up and then you can see this is obviously a brand new filter, so it's clean. Now, they told me you need to change your filter at least twice a year. Scott Patton with Keep Smiling Plumbing, Electric, Heating and Cooling has worked in the HVAC business for more than 30 years. He says right now it's crunch time.
Anytime the weather's bad, hot or cold, it becomes busy for us. So when you're the least comfortable, we're the most busy.
Here are some things you need to do to make sure your house is ready for the storm. First, change your filter. If you don't, you might run into some issues.
That will reduce efficiency and performance, which will give you higher utility bills, higher operating costs, and it will reduce the longevity of your system.
Patton says if something isn't working, you can try to call a certified technician right away. But there are things that you can do to help those technicians fix your problem.
Most of your modern furnaces will have a view door, such as the one you see here. Inside that view door, you will see LED lights. The LED lights will flash a code. And on the front of this furnace with the sticker, you can see there's a list of codes that will tell you, based on the number of flashes, what's going on with your furnace.
Next up, your faucet. Drip your sinks to avoid pipes bursting.
By keeping the water moving in your pipes, it will not freeze. It's harder for water that's moving to freeze than water that's standing still. So with the constant drip, that means there is water moving, so it is less likely to freeze.
He also recommends you cover your faucets outside and inside of your home. You can buy something from a hardware store or just use a towel to protect your pipes. When it comes to what temperature you should set your house, Patton says most people recommend 68 degrees in the winter.
I tell people keep the temperature at what's comfortable for you and what you can afford power bill-wise.
Now, you can, of course, try to call an HVAC company before the storm this weekend. You have a little bit more than a day, but a lot of these companies are really busy because of this incoming weather. Reporting live in Gwinnett County, Tara Jabor, Fox 5 News.
All right, good advice in preparation of the storm, Tara. Thanks. Speaking of somebody who's been really preparing us for the weather that's about to move in, Chief Meteorologist David Chandley, to tell us what we know at this point. David?
Well, we're looking at a pretty good ice storm. That's what we're looking at. Something we haven't seen here in quite a while across North Georgia, kind of setting the table right now. You look outside and you go, well, not much going on now. We've had a few scattered showers out there with the clouds that we saw roll in here last night, and there we go. More wet weather off to the south and to the east, and this is just some scattered showers. No big deal. Now, temperature-wise, no big deal with that either. Upper 40s and low 50s. So today and tomorrow is not a problem. Saturday and Sunday, very much a problem. We start throwing out the freezing rain, and this is kind of what we're looking at here. When you look at the rain that comes down out of the cloud, obviously melts into the warm air, well, that's where you get some rain. Now, if that cold air melts, or cold air, then it gets into the warm, talking about the precipitation, into the layer of warm air, well, it becomes liquid, but then it freezes on contact, and that's where we get ice, and that is what we call freezing rain. If it refreezes while in flight, obviously that is sleet, and then if the cold air is firmly entrenched, that whole column is what we call that, well, that's when you're going to get some snow. That's not going to be the case this go-around. It's a plain ice event. Check this out. By early Saturday morning, we're still looking up in extreme North Georgia for the possibility of some freezing rain. Then we get the wedge of cold air coming down the pike. Notice how the north and northeast will get this precipitation, the frozen kind, first, and then that's going to linger longer. Look at that through Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, and I really think that we'll see the brunt of this Saturday night on into Sunday, and I think that's where the ice accumulations will absolutely soar. We'll talk more about that, and as well as the really cold temperatures that will follow this into early next week. That's coming your way in a few minutes.
All right, David, thanks. Well, experts say now's the time to make sure that you and your car are prepped in case of a breakdown. AAA spokesperson saying that reflectors are critical. Placing them behind your car helps other drivers see you at night. A flashlight should also be on that list.
Number one rule is don't get out in it if you don't have to. But if you have to, you never know what's around the corner, literally. And if you hit an icy patch, you could lose control of the vehicle. You could leave the road. You could be stuck on the side of the road or in a ditch somewhere. And you know, in this situation, it may be difficult for help to get to you as well.
Packing snacks and bottled water, also a good idea. And if you do get stranded, prioritize staying warm and safe. All right, the headliner of the newscast, Chief Meteorologist David Chandley here on set with us as we take a live look outside up in Rome, Floyd County there. Clouds are moving in advance of what is going to be a very serious winter storm for a good part of the state, David.
Well, we're talking about freezing rain, and we're not talking about snow. We're not talking about nice winter weather. This is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
All right, it's going to be a problem for a lot of people over the weekend. So we just need to keep checking back and so forth. But what I'm looking at, I don't like. Don't like it at all.
Okay.
All right, show you what's going on here across North Georgia right now. Looking over in Clark County, that might be kind of the bullseye area out there to the northeast of Metro Atlanta for the possibility of the higher ice totals that we're going to see. Yeah, northeast Georgia, they'll see the wedge first and they'll see it longer. And that wedge is what we're talking about with the cold air just kind of rolling on in here. We got a few showers tonight and on into Friday. No big deal with that. Winter precipitation begins Saturday morning up in northwest Georgia, and then through the day on Sunday. Major ice storm for some right here in North Georgia. Oh, my. All right, so here's what we know. Behind the forecast, we know there's going to be a big winter storm. It's going to affect a lot of people, all right? And the freezing rain and ice accumulation is our greatest threat here in North Georgia. Hazardous roads, bridges, and power outages likely. Now, here's what we're working on, all right? Onset time of the freezing rain and the ice accumulation. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, depends on where you are for those answers. If snow will fall in extreme North Georgia, maybe up way high, perhaps. That's not going to be the big story. The big story is going to be when the temperature drops below 32 degrees. And how long is it going to stay there? And the duration of that is really going to be the pivotal part of this puzzle that we're trying to put together. All right, 101 Marietta cameras. It's overcast and 50 right now. It's been our high so far. 44 was the low this morning. So, yeah, just kind of benign January day waiting on all the stuff. The stuff out there tonight is not bothering anybody. It's beneficial rainfall. We could use that. A little bit light up here, Cherokee County, Dawson County. Lumpkin County, yeah, just north of the Lake Lanier area. Down on the south side, a little heavier in around Lamar County, Griffin and Spalding, Thomaston there in Upson County, LaGrange out there in Troup County, southwest of the city, getting some wet weather. Got to show you this, right? Not only are we seeing these showers just kind of skirt across parts of the southeast, but we are not alone battling this winter storm. Would you look at this, huh? You got winter weather advisories, storm warnings, the whole gamut, running from Dallas all the way up to Buffalo and really from Minneapolis down to Atlanta. Wow. Yeah, this is one heck of a storm. All right, so let's dive into the timeline and show you what I think is going to happen. Here we go. Through the night tonight, just kind of hanging out in the 40s. I think it's where we're going to be most of the evening. The heavier showers kind of pull on out, and we got a risk of a shower in here on Friday, and temperatures holding. All right, here we go. Let's start the day Saturday morning, and you're going, well, you're going to wake up and go, well, not much going on, I don't think. But, man, that east wind starts taking over, and what I'm going to be looking for is when we drop down below freezing. So once you get into early Sunday morning, I mean, we went through Saturday night, Sunday morning, we're down into the 20s now with freezing rain. That's liquid freezing on contact, and we're not done yet. I think we see another round in here later on Sunday. And, yeah, look at that. Sunday afternoon, still, we're looking at temperatures in and around freezing with that east-northeast wind, especially out to the northeast. Now, further to the south, out to the west, I do think we'll see some warming, if you will. And the magic, obviously, is 32, get above that. But I think we see some 40s out there across some of the south metro area. That's Sunday evening. However, once this clears out, the precipitation, then the really cold air gets on in here. So heads up early Monday morning. Look at the temperatures diving well down into the 20s. So this is going to be a long duration of an event. Wow. All right, here you go. Break it down for you. Got a few showers on Friday. Still holding on, obviously, to the storm alert days on Saturday and Sunday. The main impacts, Saturday night through the day on Sunday. Falling temperatures Saturday, really cold Sunday, really cold Monday, too. A lot of spots won't get above freezing until sometime on Tuesday. Look at Tuesday morning's low, down into the teens. Dealing with all liquid precipitation out across North Georgia for tonight. Won't be the case this weekend. Beneficial rain going on, especially down in the south metro area. You can see it'll come to an end for the most part later on this evening, and we got a slight risk to see some showers in here on Friday, again, of the liquid variety. And then we wait. We wait on the big winter storm that's coming our direction. Here's the plan right now. It's just kind of cloudy, 50. It's been our high so far. The wind is calm. We only hit 44 this morning, so it's been kind of one of those benign January days. Well, looking ahead this weekend, we have ourselves that winter storm watch for most of the metro area. Remember, they expanded it now. And includes an area from Carrollton to McDonough over toward Eatonton. In that watch area, we could see ice accumulations greater than 1/4 of an inch. Perhaps some snow sleet accumulations of 1 inch or less up there at extreme North Georgia. That's not going to be the concern. The concern is going to be the icing. So long-range modeling going on into the weekend. Yeah, look at that. That's a bunch of ice going on, accumulations anywhere up above a ½ inch. Now, you remember all the hubbub about the European model of how everything moved north. Well, now it's kind of come back around like we anticipated it probably would, and working in concert with the American model. And in fact, it spits out higher ice accumulations up there across parts of northeast Georgia. So we are going to be in for a time of it. So through the day tomorrow, we'll just be in the 50s down into the 40s or so. No freezing temperatures in here early Saturday morning unless you count Blairsville, but no precipitation yet. And then here we go. All the mess starting in here Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. More on that coming your way at 6.
All right, David, thanks.
And that winter storm will affect millions across the South. Next tonight, we head to Nashville to see how people there are preparing for the inclement weather.
A potentially historic winter storm has more than 200 million people in its path.
It stretches more than 2,000 miles and across 40 states. Fox's Asher Redd is near Nashville, Tennessee. And Asher, the first impacts of this could hit the South in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, Tom and Courtney, it's really hard to believe that what you're looking at behind me could be completely different in about 24 hours or so. Right now, we're at that kind of awkward temperature where we don't really know if I should be wearing this heavy jacket or not, but I have it just because the sun's going down. It's about to get cold, but emergency management officials are telling folks here to go ahead and prepare for a little bit of everything. States to the north could see several inches of snow, and states to the south could see freezing rain, which could be the big issue here. Tennessee, Georgia, and the Carolinas are in a bit of a gray area between the two. Freezing rain could cause ice to build up on power lines, which could lead to long-term power outages. And drivers could expect icy conditions on the roads. Here in Tennessee, officials want folks to stay in unless they absolutely have to go out. And if you need to drive, they want you to give yourself extra time to get to where you're going.
Certainly the road conditions will be one of the first things that we'll be looking at, and then obviously any impacts that the freezing rain and sleet could have on power outages and other infrastructure. But transportation is always the first thing that we see having issues on the front end.
You know, we get a lot of calls, people getting stranded or stuck. Also, we get a lot of crashes where people are involved in crashes. If people don't have to be out, I encourage them to stay in. But if they got to get out, plan your route, but share that route with others in case you become stranded.
And stores are selling out of winter weather gear fast. The manager of a local hardware store tells me he stocks his shelves every morning, but most of it's gone by lunchtime.
It's crazy. It's like nothing, and then it just floods, and it's nonstop. We've sold out of snow shovels around 10 or 11 this morning. Ice melt we sold out around 3 o'clock.
Forecasters say the effects of this storm could linger until the middle of next week, which could cause heavy delays in traffic, especially when you bring airports into the mix. Tom and Courtney?
Asher, thanks.